It's time for the type of energy only Darren McCarty and Neil Rule can give. It's time for Big D Energy, live on Woodward Sports. Join four-time Stanley Cup champion and legendary badass Darren McCarty and the golden voice of Neil Rule, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., as they give their takes on all things Detroit sports. The number one midday show in Detroit is on. Welcome to Big D Energy.
We got Tyler here,
looking in there.
the driver of Gravedigger.
That's right.
You know I'm rooting for him.
Yep.
We just talked with Cam Murphy. He's talking about he wants to beat you. He loves beating you. How do you react to that?
He hadn't beat me yet this year.
So what can the fans expect out of, first of all, your performance, then just Monster Jam in a whole?
My performance, I'm going to go crazy out here. I've never been to Detroit before, never been to Ford Field, so I want to lay my mark down tonight on the track for all these fans and make them, recognize my name when I come back in the future. But I'm just coming out and having fun tonight, and I'm gonna drive that truck as hard as I can.
Yo, welcome back, everybody, to another week of Big D Energy right here on the Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neil Rule. That guy, Sean Belishan. Sean, what's up, friend?
How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, pal.
Good weekend. I saw your post yesterday. It was, you messed around, got a triple-double.
Yeah.
I would say it was a good day.
No,
Ice Cube voice.
No, absolutely. KG in the building. KG, what's really good?
Not my Wolverines, man. Tough
We'll get
loss.
there. We'll get there.
Tough
We got a lot
loss.
to get to. We
Shout
definitely
out
do.
Spinny, man. Y'all got
Spencer Raxter in the building.
Just a perfect sports weekend for me.
It was.
It was literally perfect. Except if the Red Wings would have won that game in overtime, it would have been perfect, I guess. But
Still moved up in the standings,
yeah,
though.
3 points for the Red Wings, 2 wins for the Pistons. Monster Jam was a blast. Michigan State went into Ann Arbor and kicked the shit out of those pussies. It was just
Relax.
great stuff.
Spartan hockey a little bit. Can I? That was a little dent in my fender over the weekend. Spartan hockey, little dent.
Yeah.
In my fender. But other
Okay.
than that,
Yeah.
Well,
that's fair.
not everything can be perfect.
No.
Woodward Sports chat thread. Jump into the super chat if you want to skip the line like nobody did. Neil, huge W for Oakland. Detroit is on fire. Yeah, it was nice. Oakland beat the Horizon League leading Cleveland State Vikings.
Shout out.
Yeah, no, it was fun. Yesterday was awesome. The whole weekend was awesome. Spenny, Monster Jam.
Yeah.
Elite content, number one.
Thank
For
you.
real.
Awesome.
I was following along. Like, it
Yeah.
made me,
Great
follow
stuff.
along. But I was stunned. I'm not stunned because I know. Because when I was a kid, I liked it.
Yeah.
But the amount of people around town, even here in the chat right now, Adis411, Team Gravedigger, my great nephew was there. FJ1967 in the chat, he was there as well.
Yeah.
People are locked into Monster Jam still.
It was electric, man. It was not, I'm not joking. It was one of my favorite events that I've ever been to in my entire life. I had so much fun. Everybody, shout out to Jamie from Feld Entertainment for getting us down, getting us the credentials, getting us those interviews. Tyler Meninga, he's the Patrick Mahomes of Monster Jam. Like, he is the Patrick Mahomes of Monster Trucks. He's the new Gravedigger for the Stadium Series East, and he goes out there, he takes care of business. His Zombie got him in the first game on Saturday to tie the points lead on the season, and then he just took care of business to get the points lead back on Sunday. Our guy Cam Murphy, Classroom Crusher, went out there, and he actually beat Tyler twice in the head-to-head racings that weekend. So Tyler said he hasn't beat me yet this year, and then Cam went out there and beat him twice in the racing, so that was really sweet. And our guy Jim Kohler of The Avenger, Michigan guy, won the freestyle on Sunday, put on an absolute show. It was just a lot of fun. If you've never been, that was my first time. I highly advise you going next year. It's affordable, it's a lot of fun, and they put on a great show.
Yeah, it's like a wrestling meets NASCAR. Like someone said in the chat, WWE meets NASCAR, but trucks are 50 feet in the air or whatever it is.
Oh, yeah.
People were sending me pictures of it. I know I sent one over to Spenny.
You've been, haven't you?
When I was a little kid, when I was a
think we
kid, I
all
would
have,
go.
right?
We've all been at one time,
or
right?
Or at least taking our kids. I mean, for those of us that have young kids, it's a good, clean time, man. There's nothing wrong with it. So for some reason, people kind of give it the crap, and I don't. It's a good time, man. Just go in there and don't take yourself so seriously. It's
Right.
a good time, man.
No, absolutely. Had a good weekend as well. I want to shout out the people at Mitten Muay Thai, by the way.
Shout out.
Had a good time at their event.
Yeah.
And look, I know a lot of guys are like getting their start in MMA. They main events are career professional fighters and stuff like that. But there were some people out there. They matched the fights up well. They were good fights.
Yeah.
And it was a good 3 hours of time.
There's a lot of knockouts.
Yeah, right there. The spinning back fist
Yeah,
by
that was
guy
nasty.
Jordan Merriweather. And Spenny, he's just getting things going. There's a MMA club at Michigan State now. Like, it's a club sport at Michigan State. There's your product right there. Spenny, do you want a piece of that guy back in the Spartan days?
That's what it's all about. That's Michigan State great right there.
No, absolutely, though. Some good knockouts. And
My brother got done dirty here.
yeah, the spinning back elbow.
Yeah.
You know how dangerous that is, though? Like, on one of those nights that you're like about 105 proof, I can take that guy.
Shit.
You're done. You are done.
No way.
I got about 50 pounds on that guy. You're 105 proof.
Right.
My
I ain't
brother,
never been that drunk.
My brother told me one time he was getting into an elevator with his friend, and his friend was completely hammered. This is when they were at MSU, and they're getting in the elevator, and his friend's like a 6'3" basketball player from college. The doors open up, and Adrian Payne and Derek Nix are standing in the elevator. And they get in there, and his friend's just chirping him the whole time. He's like, "We can go to the courts at Sni-Fi right now. I'll dunk on you," and stuff like that.
God.
My brother's like, "Don't listen to him. He's an idiot. He's drunk." And they were laughing it off. But, yeah.
No, but it was a great weekend. Shout out to Riley Camp, by the way, from Mitten Muay Thai for having me out there with my son. We had a blast. So I would encourage you. Yeah, they usually fight Imperial House there in Clinton Township.
They friends of the network. They've been up here.
Yeah, absolutely.
They might be sponsoring some ringside content. So shout out to them.
Yeah, so make your way on out there. Just again, Sean, I know you and I have talked about this before. Like we pitch products. We do we do advertisements. That's how this business works. Everybody, breaking news. But I like to emphasize, like, the people that we deal with that are, anytime I ever talk about it, it's stuff I've done and I recommend it. Like the Mitten Muay Thai thing, like, it's a good time. If you like MMA, that's a spot. Sat ringside there, it's affordable, like, all of it, man. So I know you're that way too, like.
No, totally. Sometimes somebody throws something at you and you're like, I can't tell you how many times this happened, especially when I was in radio. It's like, I'm not down with that. I could sit here and tell you things. I don't want to disrespect anybody out there, but I don't know what to tell you. I'm not down with that. I mean, it's funny when you speak from the heart. I don't care what anybody says. Everybody's got a bullshit-ometer, right? Like, you can tell when somebody's bullshitting and they don't know what they're talking about and everything. So, yeah, when you can speak on something with passion and that's something that means something to you, Neil, I think that's all the difference in the world, man. It really is. No doubt. So, yeah, touch on all that. We're going to get into the Red Wings, going to get into the Pistons, obviously. But there's one other thing before we get things rolling here. Now, look, it's going to be pushing 50 today, and it's sunny out. And, look, it's going to feel extra. Like, that 50 is going to feel like 75.
It is, yeah.
When I walk out of the studio and it's close to 50 degrees and that sun's out, it's going to hit like blue magic going through your veins, man. Like, it's going to be electric. However, my good friend Sean Belizean today, I feel as though is being a little aggressive. He came in. It's shorts day today. Now, Sean, that's aggressive. All right, I'm not hating.
SZN. Is that what you kids say?
SZN.
SZN.
Yes. Season, yes.
That's aggressive, Sean.
It's gonna be 50 today. Like, when we walk out of here today, I see the sun.
Yeah.
It's gonna be 50 degrees. I'm sorry. It's time. Especially after the last few weeks, man. Like, honestly, it's Lion King. It is time. I can hear that old son of a bitch in my ear saying it is time.
A white people 50 and a black people 50 is two different 50s.
And I'm fine with
agree.
that. I'm cool with that, man. And you know I'm down.
Yeah, you're somewhat down.
But no, I am the furthest from being down. But all that being said, Spenny, are you with me? Come on, man.
I would wear shorts today.
Thank
I thought
you.
about it.
Yeah, but would you wear it with a coat? See, that's my only.
Yeah, but
that's
this
my
isn't
only
really a
argument
coat.
against Sean.
No, but this is like that spring coat. You know that? Like, do you know what this is?
I don't
It's
know
like,
about that.
You wore that coat in the winter.
No, listen.
You wore it when it was 10 degrees
Neil
outside.
and I are rolling down. Neil and I are rolling down to second best. Okay.
Yeah.
It is the first week of November. It is, it's 48 degrees or something. There's nothing to this. This is just like one of those, I don't know, what do they call it back in the day? Windbreaker.
Yeah.
There's nothing to this, man. This is To me, this is just, okay, you know what, I'm covering up on top, but yeah, it's time to walk down the street in shorts again, man. The last couple weeks almost broke me, dude.
Yeah.
And I'm serious. I cannot believe, Neil, at one point in time, the winter was by far and away my favorite season. Like it really was. I detest the winter with everything inside of me. I can't take it anymore. It nearly breaks me every gosh damn year. So you're damn right.
Coat and shorts. We out here.
What do I need to do? I'll even put on the old wool cap.
Yeah, it looked like you going to collect apartment money from somebody that's past due. That's all. We wouldn't lie to you as friends.
That's
you know?
it. I got no issue with it.
I don't get me wrong. I don't have an issue with it either. It's just, it's a little aggressive to me.
Listen. All right, now again, look at this. There's nothing to this. This is just a thin. If I rolled with the hooded sweatshirt, is that more acceptable?
Yeah,
the hooded,
a little bit.
The
Yeah.
hooded sweatshirt.
Yes.
Like with what you have on right now, because there isn't a lot of depth
Material.
to that.
No, it's not. But I have the shell right over here at the ready.
But if I rolled with that, like the hooded sweatshirt, because I have a USA Hockey hooded sweatshirt. Is that more acceptable than this little
I think
windbreaker?
Aesthetically it would please the eye more, I guess. It would
think
be
you're fine,
more
Sean.
consistent.
Thank you. I don't give a fuck about pleasing the eye anymore, man.
I think you're fine.
You kidding me? Those days are long gone.
I went with the no hoodie, just coat and sweatpants, or no coat, just hoodie and sweatpants combo, and I thought about this. I grabbed the shorts first. I'm not gonna lie, but I have a thing that my motto is when I break the shorts out, I'm not going back. It's no hold bars from then on. So I gotta wait until we get that next little winter rush because we're gonna get another snow.
You know we are.
But so after that, then I'm going full shorts.
Okay, just wanted to put it out there. That's all. That's all. I felt like it needed to be discussed. In the chat, somebody don't tell Neil that there's a polar vortex coming. Oh, of course. Like it's never just gonna be nice.
Michigan winter is not over until June. We all know that.
Correct.
It is so funny when these people try to convince themselves because like this week is supposed to be at least human.
Yeah.
Oh man, we might be done. It's like, are you new here?
Spring doesn't exist.
No. We're gonna get hit. We're gonna get hit with a freezing week or another death storm.
Correct.
It's gonna happen, and that's okay.
And there will be snow in April.
Yes.
A Tigers game will get canceled because of
randomly.
snow.
Yeah. Or they'll play in it like they did that Miggy game.
Yeah, that was hype.
But yeah, no, they absolutely will. One other thing too, Freddie Felt 313. Shout out Coach
Shout out.
Campy. Give that man all the flowers. Go Grizz. Greg Campy became the all-time leader in Horizon League wins.
Shout out.
Like Izzo with the Big Ten. 2 days later, there's Campy, the all-time leader in Horizon League wins. He doesn't like talking about it, but shout out to him.
Wasn't
man.
too hard.
Yeah,
Shout out, Coach.
Yeah, that's impressive. I don't care what anybody says, man. That's impressive. All right, Sean, we're going to take the break. We're going to come back. We're going to get into it. I'll let the viewers kind of choose their own adventure. If you guys want to do Wings or Pistons, let me know in the chat, and we'll start with that. FeldmanAuto.com. If you're going to buy a car, you should start with that because that is the only move, everybody. All brands of cars are represented under the Feldman umbrella. There's a Feldman automotive dealership near you. There's 19 of them in and around the Metro Detroit area. They're rooted. They've been in the game since 1996. They do a lot of great charity work with the Children's Miracle Network hospitals as well. And their car buying process is the best. All you have to do is go to FeldmanAuto.com. You can search the inventory, look for any particular kind of car you want. You can even start the buying process right then and there. It's easy, everybody. FeldmanAuto.com. Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce. Sports, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Neil Rule here for Woodward Merch. Go to shop.woodwardsports.com, the very best in Detroit sports wearables. You want the Myles Garrett move made? Get the Efton Pick shirt. That's out there as well. Gear up for the playoff run, everybody. The Pistons, they're in there. They're in there, everyone. Get geared up appropriately. Shop.woodwardsports.com. All right, we're off and running here on a Monday. Neil Rule, Sean Belizian in for DMAC KG. Spencer Raxter. Chase is in the Chase Lounge as well. All of you in the Woodward Sports chat thread, jump into there and get your thoughts out there. Steve asks, are there any electric monster trucks?
Not that I know of.
FJ 1967. Bigfoot has an electric truck version of it. So there you go, Steve. You thought you were clever.
Really?
Thought you were clever. Yep, it's probably faster than the gas too, just like the EV. It is. If we're into reality, that's what it is. All right. 56% of the people say wings, so we go wings first. That's how we're gonna do it. In the chat, Steve, this just in. Neil is now in favor of losing in overtime, giving you a point now that it works in the Red Wings' favor. Steve, it does not work in the Red Wings' favor. And I'm going to go to Sean here, all right? Because I was busy doing the Oakland game last night, and I wasn't able to catch the Red Wings game. And I have little alerts on my phone. So when there's a change in the score, I get it. And then a commercial break, I'll peek at it. So I can kind of keep up with it. What happened?
You fall apart 2 days in a row, and I mean, really, that's what it came down. I think a couple ugly turnovers. This is, and we were all in a chat last night, and McCarty was in there as well, and he kind of picked up on what I was feeding and said it infinitely better than I could, because he played the National Hockey League. This isn't a bad thing. And I know people don't want to hear that because everybody wants to puff out their chest and go, I can't believe they blew those games. Okay, two things. Number one, they took 3 of 4. Okay, they got 3 of a possible 4 points. But I'm telling you, especially when you're talking about a young team that is still in the process of trying to figure out how to win, and they are. As far as they've come, okay, what have these guys as a unit done yet? They haven't even punched their ticket into the playoff yet, okay? So this is not a bad thing, Neil, in the regard that the best teachable moments are when you win games. When a coach can go off on you, when a coach can hammer home a lot of the little things that Mac was talking about in our text group last night, that's a good thing after wins, okay? You don't want it to happen after losses. Teachable moments after losses are the absolute worst because then you start to wonder, okay, are we learning anything or are we an issue? When you can find a way to win games, as disgusting as both Saturday and Sunday were, and they were, okay? Let's be honest. You don't want to see that. That doesn't give you a lot of quote-unquote hope for how far they can take this. But, Neil, this is a young team that still has to figure out that it's a 60-minute game. Pull out every cliche. Really, pull out every cliche that you can. It's a 60-minute game, and you have to continue to do the right things and do the little things. And a mistake at that juncture in the game can end up in the back of your net. This is the highest level of hockey. It's the National Hockey League. So I know that people are going to lose their minds, or at least people were probably the day after. They're not doing it so much. I think this is where you have to take a step back and say, nah, you know what? They took 3 of 4. Minnesota's a pretty darn good team, by the way. By the way, I got chirped at from some Minnesota people. I really did. Welcome back. I guess you guys never left. But,
no, they never did.
All jokes aside, you know what? You take 3 out of 4. This is a good weekend. It is. And I know nobody likes what happens in the waning moments of both games, but you don't think for a second that Coach McClellan is going to hammer that down. You don't think for a second that is something that is going to be a priority right now. Neil, it just wasn't that big of a deal to me. To get the 3 of 4 points, I think... And by the way, who was the Steve that said now Neil likes it? You guys...
No, I don't, by the way.
Okay, this is the system in which you play. Both things can be true. You can't like it. I don't like it, okay? But at the same time, if you pick up 3 of 4, isn't that the goal? So both things can be true. I cannot like it, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I really, truly don't. But if this is a system that we're going to play under, yeah, it worked out in our benefit. So,
but that's
sure,
it, though, Sean. And for me, it's two golden opportunities for a regulation win, which we found out kept the Red Wings out of the playoffs last year.
No question.
So it's not all like the sunshines and the rainbows about it, man. Because look, it's going to happen. You're going to kick one away, and it's going to happen. But they did it twice, man. And to play Anaheim at home, who Anaheim is improving, by the way. They've scooped up points in like the last 5 games or 6 games or whatever. But I go back to the San Jose game where you lost. Parlay that with the Anaheim game where you didn't come away with the regulation. You see what I'm saying, though? You start putting the paper trail back together. That hurts, man. It does.
Well, what it comes back to is that was something that we talked about so much down the stretch last year. Nobody was paying attention because the Wings hadn't been at that point. Nobody was paying attention to that little category that says RW. Nobody was paying attention to it. It was really weird, and it was like, you guys, like this might be a factor. I said it 2 months in advance. Little did we know that was going to be the thing. But now that we've done that, Neil, you know, again, we can rant and rave about the collapse. Both games, we can do that. Or we can look at this for what it is. This is still a team, as much as we want to believe that they've arrived, okay?
They're still a 500-ish team.
Right. It's not going to be easy down the stretch. So I'll take that and a win. And 3 points out of 4 in a weekend, especially when you're only losing that point to a West team, as Mac pointed out. I'll take that and the fact that now Coach McClellan has a teachable moment. Now Coach McClellan is going to say, hey, we aren't going to tolerate this bullshit. This happened in our own building 2 days in a row. This isn't going to happen again. That's not a bad thing, honestly.
And that's fair. And like, look, I had a epiphany about it when I was on the treadmill at Planet Fitness this morning. Shout out 313 Run Club.
Shout out.
But I had an epiphany about it because I went back and I was thinking because I was getting more and more upset the more I thought about the regulation win thing and not getting 0 regulation wins the last 2 games. And then I went back to, well, I remember that Islanders game that they won in December or whatever. They won 1-0 with like 11 shots on goal. So that's a game they had no business winning. None whatsoever. But they did. So I guess it all kind of evens out in the wash a little bit. Woodward Sports Chat thread get into there. Danny G, we all want table tennis talk. Okay, Danny G, can we talk about the fact that there are no American players ranked inside the top 20 in the international rankings? What's it going to take, Sean, for the USA to get... I'm not saying you got to be the likes of Lin Shinong. You don't have to be like that good, all right? Or you see what I'm saying? Like Liang Junkin. Like, I'm not saying you have to be at that level, Sean, but at some point, I mean, this is America. We all play in the basement to some degree. We can't find one top 20 table tennis player in the world in America. What are we doing, Sean?
Right now, I can hear Spenny's voice, and I just want to grab my guitar and just start riffing for you right now. You're damn right, Neil. It's America.
Need some of the American boys to pick up their paddles and go after those communists. No, but... legitimately, I'm a big fan of the Olympics. 2-on-2 ping pong is fucking sweet.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It is.
Cool.
It is a great watch.
Yeah.
And I am somebody, my level of interest in the summer games has plummeted. Mm-hmm. Okay? I mean, it is that is a great watch, dude. It is hysterical to watch.
It's a lot. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, that's all I have to do. I just can somebody ask the question, Sean? Nobody's asking the question.
Why don't we put up a poll? We should put up a poll about the world table tennis, right?
Is no American players in the top 20 in the world acceptable to you? That's it. Like I look, France has 2 in the top 10.
Oh God.
They do.
What the fuck?
Felix Lebrun, number 5 in the world.
Douchebag.
Not acceptable.
Spenny, I had no idea that you had such issues with France. I was just there not that long ago. I should have waged one-man war on your behalf. I'm sorry, I didn't.
You ever notice that in every sport there's a Brazilian at the top of it? Like every sport, MMA, they're pretty good in basketball,
soccer,
table tennis. Hugo Calderano, number 6 in the world from Brazil. The only Brazil representing in the top 20. The more I read into it, Danny G, and you asked for this, so you got it. Don't ask me a question that you don't want the answer to. The more we talk about it, the more I get upset by it. So that's all I want to know.
If we had a hotness factor as well, Brazil's near the top, right?
Brazilian girls, they are either supermodels or pit bulls. There's no in between.
It is unbelievable.
Yeah.
It really, like if we were to do a hotness ranking, Brazil's near the top of that too.
For sure.
There are some smoke shows coming out of Brazil. It's amazing.
That's it. So again, I want to ask the question. So jump into our poll right there. Is no American players in the top 20 of table tennis acceptable? 71% of the people say no, but Sean, I want to focus on the 29% of people that say yes.
You goddamn communists.
Oh, hell yeah.
So
Need America back on top.
Just something to keep an eye on. But no, I do want to continue the Red Wings discussion. Let's do that after we talk about Planet Fitness, everybody. We're live at the Planet Fitness studios. There's thousands of them across the nation. There's over 50 of them in Metro Detroit alone. And with your black card that costs just $24.99 a month, that's it, less than $1 a day, you get access to all of them. Hey, how's that New Year's resolution going? Said you want to get in better shape, right? It doesn't matter. Just go do it now. Just take care of it. That's all that matters. Go to planetfitness.com, get your gym membership, make it a part of your life. And it doesn't matter if you're bouncing around the Metro Detroit area during the course of a day. There is a Planet Fitness close to where you are. Trust me, there is. We broadcast everywhere. There's always a Planet Fitness close by. It's the best value in the gym game. Someone that's in your family is paying $80 a month for a gym membership, and I'll never understand why. planetfitness.com. Don't pay more money to lift the same weights.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
No one gives away more cash and prizes than Woodward Sports. You don't believe us? Here's our latest $10,000 winner.
You know, you guys posted, hey, if you guess all this stuff right, we'll give it's $10,000. I'm like, okay, well, why the hell not?
And the winning doesn't stop there. How about our Outkick Your Coverage winner?
I think you won.
David Tully, everybody. David Tully. This guy's got a hot girl.
Bigger prizes, bigger giveaways, cash, merch, tickets, and more. All from the biggest sports network in Detroit. No one does it bigger and better than Woodward Sports. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube for your chances to share in the winning. From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, sit back, relax, get an amazing haircut from one of our talented stylists. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. You can get the hot lather, neck shave, the scalp massage, hot towel treatment, all of that good stuff at Lady Jane's. Like I said, walk-ins are always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
All right, keep it pushing here. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neil Rule, Sean Belizean, Spencer Raxter, KG, Chase is in the Chase Lounge as well. And all of you in the Woodward Sports chat thread, look, we're talking Red Wings right now. We slid off into table tennis because the people asked for that. That's fine. Ask me the question. I'll give you the answer. Neil in the chat, can we talk about kickball? You want to chop it up about the World Kickball Association? You want to do that right now? The Founders Cup? Get it? Founders Cup. Who should be the new coach of the Founders Cup? No, I'm kidding. Right. That is where I draw the line.
Cricket on the docket next.
that is where I draw the line.
MSU's dodgeball team is, I think, back-to-back champions.
There you go. See, we'll talk about it. If people got the questions, we got the answers.
In the country right now.
Hey, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
You can dodge a ball.
Good point.
Sean, and I did want to bring this up to you since you're here. I think it's time, and look, you know me. I'm Captain Draft Capital. I'm Captain Cap Space. I love it. You've seen me I think the Lions are at that spot now where it's time. It's time to take that leap and take that plunge. For the Red Wings, Sean, I do think with the trade deadline coming up, I think a controlled move is in order. And when I say controlled move, because look, the bottom line is this, Sean. When you look at what happened to this team this weekend, and they got away with it for the most part, you look at defensively, they're spread kind of thin, right? Mm-hmm. Is there? Can you give me a type move? I'm not asking you for a name. Give me the tier move. Because I think if you can get a third defenseman, a fourth defenseman, like a vet that's been around, that's not going to cost you a lot. Am I barking up the right tree here, Sean, or no?
I think if I'm Steve Yzerman, and again, anybody that tells you they know what Steve Yzerman's going to do, they're lying. Because there is nobody, and I mean this, nobody that keeps their cards closer to the vest than Steve Yzerman. And I think that's what's made him so successful. Neil, I think to your point, and this was also a conversation we were having yesterday in our chat group, I think Steve Yzerman thinks he already has those guys. You know what I mean? I think a guy like Sherratt, and the much maligned Sherratt. Now, I've watched this guy play for 16 years. So, like, seriously, I remember him in the OHL. I remember him being, and I'm serious when I say this, a really good piece to that crazy Habs run in 21.
Very handsome guy.
A guy like Sherratt is the type of guy that don't ask him to do too much. Don't ask him to be something that he's not. But if you have a solid top four, I think he's a good fit outside of that. I think he's a guy that you can put back there. Don't expect too much. He's got his limitations. He can have his moments as well, and certainly he's had his big moments. So I don't think, Neil, there's that type of move. And besides, the flip side to that, and this is where the Red Wings are at right now, okay? And we could do an impromptu game right here, right now, is what are you prepared to give up? Because if you call me, you know what I'm going to ask for? I'm going to ask for everything you don't want to give up.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. That's the way that works.
That you want. That, I mean, really, legitimately, that's so when you're talking about, oh, I love this guy. Well, if you love this guy, what do you think the other general manager's thinking?
Yeah.
What could I go get this ASP cat? Could I? But do you know what I'm saying?
No,
I mean,
know.
that's the way this works.
Nobody's giving you a good body for Hall and Tarasenko. Like you would have to give up something you want, and I'm fine with them staying put at the deadline this year because you look at what you've got coming up the pipeline next year with the guys that are going to be out the door, those bad contracts that are going to be out of the door, and then you have ASP and Danielson and Kosa that are all going to be on this team next year. And ASP, they're your top four defensemen being ASP, Edvinsson, Seider, and Johansson. That's damn good. Then Sherratt can bump down to that third pairing. Then you have Danielson to come in and be that second line center. That's also a very good bump down. Now you have Comfer. I forget who. I think it's Comfer that's still on contract, or one of the two, as your third line center, and that's a much better feel. And then instead of Lyon and Talbot, you'll have Kosa and Talbot as your goalie pairing. So
and that's exactly what I'm saying is I know the desire is there, and we'd like to do that. Neil, I'm not saying you're wrong or anybody else is wrong, but really it comes down to, okay, so when you call me, the opposing general manager, what am I going to ask for? Am I going to ask for Tarasenko?
No.
A contender might. You know, I thought, like, seriously, a year ago at this time, when Florida made that move to Ottawa to get Tarasenko, that's a great fit for a team like Florida. Because Tarasenko isn't the Tarasenko of even 4 years ago, okay?
Yeah.
That guy's gone. Too much wear and tear. But you know what? You put that big body on a third line, and that's part of a championship team. You're not asking him to come in and do too much. It's like, hey, bro, we got the marathon coming up, and we're going to need your big body, okay? So that's what it is. I'm going to ask for everything you don't want to give up. I'm not calling you about Petrie. I'm not calling you about Hall. I'm not calling about one of your goaltenders. I'm just not. I mean, unless you want to include Trey or Sebastian. Mm-hmm. Those are the only goaltenders. So tell me about this Augustine kid. Yeah, you got Sebastian as well. Wait, right, exactly. That's when I hang up the phone. Yep. But people don't consider that right now. So it's funny that you mentioned Anaheim as well. Anybody know who Anaheim's general manager is? Guy by the name of Pat Verbeek. A guy that worked for the Detroit Red Wings. A guy that has done this exact same routine as Steve Yzerman. And Neil, by golly, just like the Red Wings, kind of going like this. They're not there yet, much like the Red Wings really aren't there yet. They're ahead of where the Ducks are. But, Neil, this comes back to something I know I've said to you multiple times. I've said on this show 1,000 times. I've said to people and got killed for it. You guys, whether you like it or not is inconsequential. Doesn't matter, okay? You know what National Hockey League general managers say? The type of rebuild that the Anaheim Ducks went under, the type of rebuild that the Detroit Red Wings went under, the clock doesn't even start until you're 5 years in. I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. So it's funny, now you're starting to see the Ducks start to reap a little bit of their hard work, okay? And the Red Wings are obviously further along the thing, and so are some other teams. I think Ottawa's further down the path. Maybe Montreal's a little bit further down the path than Anaheim. So that's where we're at right now. And Steve Yzerman has not been jumpy or had an itchy trigger finger up to this point. I don't expect it to start now, not when you have all these jewels that are sitting in this really treasure chest. Now all of a sudden you've got a treasure chest, and I don't want to give up any of those jewels right now.
No, and I'm fair with that. Go ahead, KG.
Would you be mad if the Wings just miss out on the playoffs again and Stevie didn't make a move at the deadline? Would you be upset?
It depends on how it went down, right? Like if you have a defensive collapse with your last line or your fourth defenseman or something like that, then I would be upset about it, yeah. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just, Sean, I guess what I'm driving at is I'm not talking about prospects even. They got, what's their pick situation? They got their own first rounder. They got their own second rounder, a couple of thirds. There's a fourth round pick out there that is chopped and diced and mashed a couple of different ways. They got their fifth, their sixth, and a couple of seventh. So they got some draft capital. You know what I'm saying here, Sean? Like a back three, front four line defenseman that's going to cost you a third round pick. You know what I'm saying? Like that. They got a contract. They want to get off it. Because the bottom line is now you're really refining your audience.
Now,
here.
Are you talking about a rental, or you want somebody
absolutely.
under contract? I'm not adverse to that.
Yeah, that a team that's not gonna contend, they just say, you know what, dude, let's just save the $3 million.
There are enough teams out there that are further behind the curve than the Red Wings right now. And, I'm sorry, I've been saying it for 2 years. I think what's so fun about the Atlantic right now is you've got Montreal and Ottawa who really aren't that far off. And, the Habs have 2 first-round picks again. That's the kind of stuff that makes it fun. But, no, you give out, Neil, just thinking out loud, you give out a third-round pick for a guy that's going to come here and maybe a playoff push, and then he'll try free agency. No, I don't think there's any harm in that.
Yeah, and that's what I'm driving at. I'm not looking to alter the future here to get in the playoffs.
And you know as well as I do, you're not going to get anybody really of consequence. What you're looking for is a fit. Really, not necessarily anything sexy, but a guy that's coming here maybe going to be an upgrade and is a fit to what you're trying to accomplish.
Woodward Sports chat thread, get into there. Paper Chungus, the Iser plan will take until 2030. Poop emoji.
Yes.
I just go back to it, Sean.
I don't think it'll go that far, but...
Well, Sean, I just go back to it. What box hasn't he checked? Like the Paper Chungus, let's get into it for real. What box hasn't Steve Yzerman checked?
Listen, at the same time, Paper Chungus, and to anybody else out there, I don't blame you guys. It is frustrating. But that's why people like me told you exactly how it works 5 years ago. And I said it 1,000 times. It isn't my words, okay? These are not my words, all right? 2 general managers in the National Hockey League, one from currently a general manager in the East and one currently a general manager in the West, told me with their mouth, okay, the average person doesn't understand. It takes 5 years. The clock doesn't even start. So Steve Yzerman was hired on April 19th, 2019. The freaking clock didn't even start till the 24-25 season. Those aren't my words. That is not my theory. These are 2 general managers in the National Hockey League, literally leading their club, that told me with their own mouth that that's the way it goes.
And I know that the casual sports fan or the casual Detroit sports fan wants it right away, like the Lions and the Pistons. The NHL is not the NBA or the NFL. It takes 3 years at least for these guys to be ready to play in the NHL.
Unless you get a McDavid,
unless
or
you get a
Crosby,
McDavid,
right.
or which the Red Wings didn't get a number 1 overall pick in Steve Yzerman's tenure. So wow, you still got the best player in 2 of those drafts, but these guys take time to mature to be ready to play in the NHL, let alone become stars in the NHL. And now we're seeing it. And he talked about having too many Smurfs on the top lines and you need a Shanahan. Your Shanahan is Marco Kasper. Look at that kid. That's a big physical body to put out there. And I know a lot of Red Wings fans, or at least casual Red Wings fans, don't know about Nygaard and what he's going to be. That is another big physical top 6 forward that you're going to have coming up here. He's a literal fucking Viking, and he's going to rock it for a shot. Come on. It's not the NFL. It's not the NBA. You can't have one player come in here and make you a playoff contender. That's not how it works. In hockey, it takes a team. In hockey, it takes at least 3 years for players to be ready to play in the NHL, let alone
It's
be
baseball.
stars.
It's more baseball-esque.
I'm so glad that you brought that up because that was one of the biggest misunderstandings. I was fortunate enough to do junior hockey for a couple different leagues, broadcast for 15 years. And the thing that people don't understand, okay, let me use Terry and Arnold as an example. We can watch Terry and Arnold come here. We can weep and wail and dissect him in every way, shape, or form, okay? And there are still enough people out there that after a year want to write a guy off, which is, I'm sorry, it's absolute insanity. Hi, Darius Slay, remember him?
Yeah.
Don't say that you didn't, okay? A vast majority of you wanted to go like that with Darius Slay. You are talking about an 18-year-old kid being drafted who still has at least another year of junior. Maybe he goes the U.S. college route. So he might have a year or 2 after that. And then, maybe, just maybe, he's ready to jump to the National Hockey League. A lot of times, we're gonna send you down to the AHL. We're gonna let you play in Grand Rapids, right? It's insane. And the one thing that I can tell you definitively is no 2 kids develop the same way. There's every path is different, but you're still talking about development. And I don't think the average fan understands that which you said, Spenny. It is, you are developing talent. And there's no guarantee at the end of it, okay? There is no guarantee at the end of this road. But if you do things the right way and you have a process that best puts them in a position to become everything that they can be, yeah, you're talking about 3-4 years at a time. And thus, I say again, I hate to sound like a broken record, but honestly, 2 general managers with their own mouths said the clock doesn't even start until 5 years in.
Oh, there's Sean and his sources.
Sorry. I won't
Sorry,
give them
I get
up,
that.
but
Yeah.
2 general managers.
My source of where to get a good car is pretty easy. You can hit up Les Stanford because Les Stanford, Chevrolet, and BMC, they got their sign and drive sale. You can get a 2024 Envision for $239 a month or try their 2025 Sierra Crew Cab Elevation for $249 per month. Don't forget the Hummer EV 2025 SUV for only $789 per month. 0 security deposit, 0 due at signing, 0 first payment, 0 acquisition fee. Get to Les Stanford today and check out their massive inventory at the sign and drive sale. Les Stanford Buick GMC, LesStanford.com.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free
WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com. Detroit sports. Make sure you listen to Ermanni and Edwards with Maz next 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. on the Woodward Sports Network.
What's up, everybody? Neil Rule here for Caesar Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of Woodward Sports. And right now, when you scan the QR code on the screen and make your first deposit using the code Woodward1000, you are able to make your first bet all the way up to $1,000. If that bet all the way up to $1,000 loses, you'll get it back as a free bonus bet. It's like a do-over, everyone. What are we talking about here? And it's Caesars Sportsbook. Like Caesars, one of the OGs in the sports betting game. The app is clean. It's easy to navigate. It's not going to sit there and glitch out on you or the spinning wheel or any of that stuff because it's Caesars. Again, use a code Woodward1000 when you scan the QR code and make your first deposit. If you do that, you make your first bet. You'll get it back as a free bonus bet if you lose, all the way up to $1,000. Everybody. So what are we talking about, man? Caesar Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of Woodward Sports. All right, we're keeping it pushing here. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neil Rule, Sean Belesian, Spencer Raxter, KG, Chase, all of you in the Woodward Sports chat thread. Appreciate you guys tapping in. Kind of a slow arriving crowd today, but that's all right, man. Everybody had a good weekend, so we're just in here talking about it. But it's just, we have to do this every so often. And I don't understand it. But here we go. Cody Engel, Iserman's protected class in this city. And Cody, I'll ask you the same question. What box hasn't he checked? And we can go through this kind of piece by piece if that's what everybody wants to do. Because, Sean, there's been linear growth. Every single year there has been. When you look at the drafts, and you pluck a Mo Sider in there. And then in your next draft, you pluck a Lucas Raymond out of that draft. And then in the next draft, it's Simon Edvinson, who started his career. Sebastian Cosa, supposed to be one of the goalies of the future. The next draft, Marco Casper, who I think got here early, as a couple of those guys got here early. Then the draft after that, Nate Danielson, that people are big on. Trey Augustine, who people are big on.
Spartan Dog.
Shout out. They're not here. And they're not going to be here because they're 18-year-old kids. And Sean, like that's how you just got done breaking it down to everybody. That's how this works. Through all that, through arriving at a scene where Franz Nielsen and Justin Abdelkader,
Spartan Dog, get your money.
Who is still till 2026.
Shout out Spartan Dog.
Mona Shores as well. I thought I'd throw that out there, but go ahead.
Like these were the people that were taking up $19 million of your payroll to not play.
And what you just said is so huge to me, Neil, because you know what? And all those names that you mentioned, a lot of them won't be here. Some might not make it. Some might never become what we thought they would become. Some are going to be used as big pieces to entice other big pieces to come.
Well, Sean, I didn't name everyone.
Right? I mean,
I just named the highlights of the. Now there will be one that won't make it. I'd say one that won't make it.
Yep.
But there will be a few of the names I didn't list that do make it.
And which guy are you going to trade? Are you going to flip? And Steve Yzerman's going to take advantage of somebody. Because if you look at Steve Yzerman's trade history, he did that quite a bit. Okay? Yeah, trust me, he did that quite a bit. Jonathan Drew on anybody, but this is and this is one of the things, Neil, that I come back to this. Okay, if you guys what did Steve Yzerman do that was detrimental to this club? Okay? Because I understand what you're saying. Nobody Steve Yzerman's above reproach. You know what a major mistake was for Steve Yzerman in my mind? Hiring Coach Lalonde.
Or keeping him too long.
Period. That was a bad move from Steve Yzerman.
And he fixed it.
Steve Yzerman would never admit it, because I think that's disrespectful to Coach Lalonde. But day one, and I know I told you this, Neil, sorry I'm doing this again, I had people tell me, why'd he hire him? He's a specialty coach. He is not a head coach. Great guy. Great guy. Nobody can say a negative word about him. Still can't say a negative word about him. He is not head coach material, okay? So if you want to hang him for something, you can hang him for that. That was a bad hire, period.
And he fixed it.
And it probably took him too long.
100%, but he fixed it.
But at some point in time, I understand the frustration, okay? But, Neil, I swear to God, I gazed in the crystal ball. I knew as sure as shit, as sure as I was sitting here, we were going to have these conversations 5 years from now. That's why I sounded like a broken record for 5 years saying, you guys, seriously, you can't hope for anything for 5 years. I'm sorry. Now, all bets are off. If they don't make the playoffs this year, you're well within your right to scream and yell. Now, I'm going to tell you ahead of time. I'm going to tell you right now what my response is going to be, so you can build up your retort. Okay, I'm giving you a head start. Don't forget, Steve Yzerman said the goal isn't just to get back into the playoffs. It's to be the type of franchise that everybody was accustomed to, where you could say legitimately, Neil, from 93 all the way till 2009, okay? This was a team every year that had a shot, a legitimate shot. Were there some heartbreaks in there? Oh, absolutely. A first-round flameout? Absolutely. No doubt. But they were legitimate. That was a legitimate run from 1993 all the way to 2009. And we saw what came of it, right? You had the Stanley Cup in 97, you had the Stanley Cup in 98, you had the Stanley Cup in 02, you had the Stanley Cup in 08. So the goal, Neil, isn't to, golly gee, we're back, this is great. No, the goal is to compete as we all grew up with. I don't care what age you are. Chances are right now, unless you're really young, Chase, we all watched it. We watched it in real time. We watched 02. We watched 07. Oh, gosh damn it, they came so close. The run is finally over, only to be the best team again the next year and win the Stanley Cup again the next year. So that's what they're aiming for here. It isn't about getting into the playoffs. Now, do you want to see playoff hockey again here? Absolutely.
Yeah, it's fun.
1,000%. I want it. I want more than anything. This is my selfish. I want to go down to that plaza. I want to go down to that plaza and just hang out. Seriously, I got a couple drinks.
I'll go with you.
Yeah, let's go. I'll buy the tallers. I do. Let's just hang out.
All right,
I don't give a shit about going into the game. I just want to hang out in that plaza because I watched the Red Mile in Calgary. I watch Le Cajot in Montreal. I watch Toronto. I watch them have those parties, and I'm like, gosh damn it, I want one of those parties. I don't even give a shit about going to the game. I'll buy the tallers, boys. Let's go.
I'm there.
We'll bring a pizza. Pizza tastes better with your shirt off. We'll all walk around.
You'll be in shorts.
I'll be in shorts.
The Cavs will be on display.
It will be. It'll be a show. But seriously, pizza with the shirt off and a bunch of tallers, watching the Red Wings in the playoff on that big screen out there. Yes. I don't blame anybody for being frustrated. Just quit putting the gosh damn cart in front of the horse, man. That's all I'm saying.
They got a free EV charger at Motor City Casino right around the corner. I'm in.
We cooking.
Yeah, I'm in there. You know I'm in
depending
there.
on how the game is, our pants might be off. You know how I roll.
Yeah, yours will be off
There's no
for sure.
guarantee. Whoa, what happened? My pants came down.
So shirtless and pants off. All right, we got Nick and Sean.
What a wonderful day that'll be.
Woodward Sports Chat Thread. Justin Station. What about Elmer Soderblom? No, I'd even go down to the 6th round. Like where he got Soderblom. Like it is. I'm looking for, like, I know it's hip and it's fun and it's cool to say, how long's the Yzer plan gonna take and why is he protected class? I'll ask you the simple question: what has he not done?
I don't blame Neil. Honestly, though, at the same time, I don't blame people.
No, but they can say it. But Sean, then I'll say, okay, what has he not done?
Yeah. Well, two things can be true.
Give me the end. Well, what has he not done then, KG?
He's protected class, but he's also improved every single year.
Mm-hmm. Then what's the problem with him being GM?
It's nothing. None for me.
Then you can't say he's, quote, protected from what? From being good?
People in this town don't want to hear the P word.
Like I said, I can hang him on his choice of coach. I just
fair.
And Justin Hall.
That's it.
Well, I
mean, you can do that too.
But
and the Tarasenko signing. Yeah. But
that one, I mean,
sorry, it was not good.
Yeah.
You were the only one. You were the only one.
No,
you were. I was in. Spenny and I were in. We were hyped
for sure.
The Panthers angle got me. That's my team B. So
like I said, he was perfect for Florida.
He's cooked.
You put him on a third line. Go beat Tarasenko. I understand that your days of a point per game are over, long over, okay? There's been a lot of wear and tear. There's a lot of mileage on that car and everything. He was a perfect signing. When Ottawa and Florida made that deal, I swear to God, one of my good buddies, I was like, ooh, Florida is the number one contender right now with a bullet. Especially, everybody at the time was talking about the Rangers, right? Well, the Rangers are Charmony soft.
Yeah.
And they're showing it this year. They are. Go. Panarin playing, 90 feet of the ice. I don't want a guy like that.
No.
You put up 110 points. When you're playing 90 feet of the ice, man, sorry, I'm going to go someplace else. But Neil, in that regard, he was he was a great fit for Florida. I didn't understand And I guess if I was at that press conference, which I wasn't, I would have said, how do you see him fitting in here? How do you what are your expectations for him, especially when you're paying him $475, right? $475.
And
so
he can't be on the ice
I
in
didn't
overtime.
understand that one.
I can't have Tarasenko overtime minutes. It is like my balls go inside me when I see if I see Tarasenko on the ice in overtime, my nutsack retracts inside my body because it's just like if we turn over the puck, it's an odd man break because he's going to be trying to get down the ice, but he can't do it.
Spenny, you should probably go to the doctor for that.
That's
Get
him out of my town.
You know what?
Get off my plane.
If the Red Wings were even a year ahead right now, what I expect them to be a year ago at this time, and you can mark my words. If you can call, I think they're going to be a legitimate contender next year. I really truly believe that.
Like Stanley Cup?
No, not yet. But capable of winning a
Conference finals?
Yeah, capable of winning a playoff series or two. Yeah, I really believe that.
I agree.
So that 4 to 5 seed.
Yeah, if you want to call me a slapdick, go right ahead.
No, I agree.
I honestly and truly, he would be perfect for a team like that. They weren't in a position to do that yet this year. They just weren't.
Woodward Sports chat thread in the super chat. Ryan's reaction: how many years to fix the mess he came into? Then it takes 3+ years to develop anyone that he drafts. People don't understand hockey. And look, like I'm not.
Who's that? Ryan?
Yeah, Ryan's reaction.
Props to you.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
And I get it, right? Like it's not different. Everyone has the NFL on the brain where they think that you draft someone and they come in and they play right away, and it's not the way it works. It's kind of like it's not quite baseball, where in baseball, like Max Clark. Mm-hmm. Like you forget they have him though. You know what I'm saying? Like
he's another 2 years,
and it's going to be 2 more years before he's here.
Goat.
He went to prom last year. You know, like it's.
Do you know part of the problem is people, as you know, Neil, this has been my biggest complaint in this business for years. People take the exception and try to make it the rule. Speak for the rule. Mm-hmm. Okay, and that's what about Connor McDavid? What about Sidney Crosby?
Oh, yeah, the unicorn.
What are you talking about? How about Alex Ovechkin? Yeah, somebody could even throw Connor Bedard out there, okay? Yes, there are exceptions. Oh, there are. There's no doubt about that. But the far greater rule is these guys are going to take some years to develop. And they're going to go through this kid is a bust and that kid's a bust shit. It's difficult for an 18-year. You're 18 years old, man. And you have people every day of your life saying, I think this kid's the shit. And then when you don't play like the shit, it goes from one extreme to the other. This KG guy, why the hell did we draft that kid from BC? Holy shit. Right. He's nothing but a mucker and a grinder. What a wasted number 1 pick.
They told me he was the next PK Subban.
Right. That's boy, that was, let me tell you something.
The floor of Anson Carter.
Right. That was a miss by people. I saw PK at Belleville. It was breathtaking. It was, I'm not joking. He was a 2nd-round pick. How does that happen? And so that goes to tell you again, for all the times that people think that this is a proven formula and a proven science, there are exceptions in every way, shape, or form.
But you know what is a proven formula? The Red Wings improve every single year. Steve Yzerman's a GM.
Pretty hard to deny
That's a fact. Yeah. That's not what I think. You can go back and look at the standings if you want, or you can save some time. Yes, Benny, we'll get to it real quick. Dookie Draws.
Oh, hell of a name.
Yeah. What do we have to do to get Tarasenko off this team? Attach a 1st-round pick and ship him to San Jose.
Sharks won't.
We'll give you Tarasenko and a 1st-round pick for nothing.
No.
All right, so I haven't thought about this. All right, so who's a good contender? Who's a good contender? A team that maybe knows the Rangers, who are Charmini soft. Could the Rangers do something to say, you know what, we want that body, we need a little sandpaper, we need a big body? I think more specifically a real contender. Sorry, Spenny. I think more specifically I would dangle him to a legitimate real contender.
And you'll pay 50 cents?
Yeah, it'd be interesting. But you know what? And you know,
more
he's got another year left though at 475. But
yeah.
Is there a desire out there for him? I bet for a contender. Yeah, let's add him and have him be.
Then you
what
can
he was
determine
to
your
Florida.
return.
Yeah, I think
for a quarter on the dollar, we'll give him to you for free.
I think that'd be fun.
For 75 cents on the dollar, we want some draft compensation.
Yep, absolutely.
Get Neil on the phone. Let's go talk with Stevie Y. Get the wine and the bourbon out, and let's get this figured out. Is that fair?
Chase just said a team like the Devils.
Boom. There you go.
Could you use some of that? Yeah, I think so.
There you go. We got it figured out. Tell them about Jars.
Jars Cannabis, man. The Rail Jam was popping this weekend. If you missed out, that sucks for you. But make sure you go check out Jars Cannabis. Every single location, they got top shelf quality, unmatched variety, and the best prices in the game. Social medias at Jars_Life. Jars Cannabis. They are the best name in cannabis.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Detroit has the best sports fans in the world. That's why they deserve the best sports coverage in the world. We are the Woodward Sports Network. Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you. A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man-meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports. Is that an octopus in your pants, or are you just happy to see me? You should see what I did there. Go Red Wings! From Octopi Experts, Woodward Sports.
Neil Rule for FeldmanAuto.com, the best car dealership group in the state of Michigan, one of the largest as well. All the brands are represented. We know about Feldman Chevrolet in Novi because they're Michigan's #1 Chevrolet dealer and the nation's #1 EV dealer. You like that one, KG? And
yeah.
Oh, by the way, doesn't have to be Chevy, everybody. You want a Ford, you want a Kia, you want EV, you want gas, doesn't matter what you want. If you want a car, the move is FeldmanAuto.com. And you can start looking around, look at all the inventory. You can even start the buying process online. FeldmanAuto.com. All right, pulling up on hour number 2, Neil Rule, Sean Belizean, KG, Spencer Raxter. We are going to get to the Pistons. Just want to put the lid on this Red Wings discussion. And we got Chase hanging out in the Chase Lounge. I'm looking up there at the 4-letter network. 76ers and Joel Embiid exploring options for injured left knee, including surgery.
How about explore, get him out of town, because it hasn't worked.
400.
The process is dead.
400 missed games in his career.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Unbelievable.
You thought Anthony Davis was bad.
39 games last year and only 19 this year. Is that?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Somebody posted this yesterday, and I don't know who admin was, okay? But during the Piston game, somebody said, is Cade the best PG in the Eastern Conference?
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know who the admin was. I don't know who the admin was. You have to put him in that conversation now, right?
Yeah.
Cade is the best point guard in the NBA.
Yeah,
He's the best point guard in the NBA.
Because, just off the top of my head, and I'll defer to you, okay? Seriously, Neil, because you've called games in the NBA and stuff. Okay, Brunson,
no.
Halliburton,
no.
Right? I mean, help me out. Those were the two that popped in my mind right away. Would I take Cade Cunningham?
Absolutely.
You damn right.
Because my first reaction is all right, who's the slapdick running the Woodward account?
No,
and then I sat
real.
back and go, okay, so who would you take in the East?
See, you have to stop. You're not comfortable with that.
No, that's exactly
mentally,
it.
you're not. And people around Detroit, I don't think, are fully mentally comfortable with that.
You better get
yet.
comfortable. Because the leap he's taking this year, he does it all. He's a triple-double threat every time he steps
Like I said,
on the court.
it's not just the East. Cade is the best point guard in the NBA. If he got SGA's whistle, he would average 35 points a game. This guy is different in what he's doing. He's putting up numbers that only Michael Jordan, Oscar Robinson, LeBron James, and Luka Doncic have so far in this career.
Yeah.
He is on par with Nikola Jokic so far this year when it comes to all-around game.
This year.
And
It's him and Jokic.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And this guy, Cade Cunningham, is truly a superstar. He is legitimately a first-team All-NBA player. He is legitimately a top-5 MVP candidate in the league this year. Like, he is playing out of his mind.
Woodward Sports chat thread, Ethan Rosell agrees with you. He's better than SGA. If he had SGA's whistle, he'd average damn near 40 points a game.
It's hard to argue. Really.
DNC ENT's with you, says, no, Cade is the best point guard in the league. Like, people are worked up. And, like, look, I'm not as worked up about it because I was on this for a while with Cade. You know, it is. It's just the guy will do the basketball move. And you saw the difference. Like, look, Trae Young last night played about as well as he could play. And I know the stat lines ended up very similar, almost the damn near same, but the eyeball test was nowhere near the same.
Yeah.
Cade had 4 stocks. Trey had 7 turnovers. Like,
That's it.
The guy plays. You look at the other top guards in the East. You got Brunson, you've got LaMelo, you've got Trae Young, you've got Halliburton, you've got Darius Garland. I'm taking Cade Cunningham over all of those guys. He is the best guard in the Eastern Conference.
It's so funny. I go back to the draft 4 years ago, okay? I am a firm believer, all right? If you get the number 1 pick and the spontaneous celebrations that started merely over getting the number 1 pick, and I didn't mean to be a stick in the mud that day, but I said that day, hey, you guys, you know when I'm going to have my celebration is when that number 1 pick becomes a special player.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I'm a firm believer. I'm sorry. I'm a firm believer. I don't need a good player when you get number 1 overall. I don't need a good player.
Need
okay?
generational.
If you get number 1 overall, you have to be a special player. And Neil, you never backed away from this. You got my back last segment. I'm going to get your back here. He never backed away from this. You guys, we got ourselves a special player.
Yeah.
You have. I've heard you say it for 2 years.
Yeah.
Anybody want to argue that now?
No.
Anybody want to come in and say you were wrong?
The early returns were there. It was just the team's success was not matching up to what Cade was bringing them.
Sure.
And, you know, for him to just be, I said year 3 because he's been in the league 4 years, but the second year he only played 12 games. For him to be taking this kind of leap in only 3 years of NBA basketball, he has a lot of runway in front of him, man. So, no, he can possibly be the face of the league one day.
I take it seriously, Neil, and I know you do too, and I think you guys, everybody here does. I got to stop myself from being a slapdick. Like I like really and truly have a job to do. I have a job to do.
I agree with you. I subscribe to that.
So when I saw that yesterday, my first inclination was to reach out to Spenny and just go, Spenny, who's running the fucking account? And then, sorry, Fox too. I know, but listen, but then I sat back and I said, it's okay to say that.
It's true.
It's okay to say that.
I'll
make that argument with anybody.
Sean,
I will. Who do you want me to argue? Who do you want me to argue against? I'll make that argument with anybody. That's how special a season this guy's having right now.
No earlier than 3 months ago on these very same airways, I made a proclamation that Cade Cunningham was the best Detroit Piston since Isaiah Thomas.
Yep.
And I was chastised for that opinion.
The Grant Hill people came after you?
Yeah, I was thrown over the coals for that opinion.
Yeah.
Cade Cunningham is the best Detroit Piston since Isaiah Thomas. He is the most talented basketball player this organization has ever had other than Zeke Thomas. You look at what he could do, man. This guy does everything. He does it efficiently. He does it correctly. He's not foul baiting. He's not acting like a bitch like Trae Young does every single time he goes to the hole. He goes out there. He gets you ethical, real buckets. He's an elite level 3-tier scorer. He will guard your best player on the other end as well. He will block your center at the rim when he's trying to dunk it. Cade Cunningham is a top 5 player in the NBA right now. Right now. His future, his ceiling is multiple-time MVP. Yeah. This guy is special, and we need to acknowledge him for what he's doing.
I like that Spenny dropped it in a way. It almost sounded like he was talking about pasture-raised eggs, didn't he? Yeah. He's ethical. He's sustainable.
Yeah.
But it is, though. And what did he have last night? 3 free throw attempts?
Yeah,
3.
Yeah.
Trae Young had like 12 or something
15,
like that.
I think. Yeah.
15 it was?
Yeah.
Like, I think that should be celebrated. And it won't, because it won't be, but it should. because he does play basketball the right way. Like what everybody rails against here in the chat, like when we talk about NBA and everything that everybody comes out against, Cade is exactly that.
Yeah.
He's exactly that. Ethical. I like that way. He's an ethical scorer. He is not out there trying to rip through arms and like putting his hands in the air. And he's not even sitting there crying about calls he doesn't get.
Which he doesn't.
He plays through
Which he doesn't get. He plays through it.
Neil, he's already top 3 in the history of the NBA of games with 25-plus points, 10-plus assists, and 0 free throw attempts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He doesn't get the call. He doesn't bitch. He doesn't cry. And it's kind of like a LeBron factor, where LeBron gets the call, but LeBron doesn't get as many calls as he should because he literally gets hammered every time he goes to the lane. But it's because he's so big and physical and strong. Because Cade Cunningham is 6'7", and he's physical, and he gets to the lane and you hit his arm, but he still finishes on top of you. Because he's so strong, he's not going to get the call. That Trae Young's little dainty 6'1" dust bunny looking ass goes to the lane. He gets hit. He goes crazy and looks better.
He dove into Beef Stew's leg last night after that 3-point shot.
I was so happy when they called the one where he went in the lane and elbowed Stu in the face and they challenged it and it got overturned. I was like, fuck you. I said it on Twitter. I couldn't imagine waking up every morning and forcing myself to like Trae Young or to respect that kind of basketball.
Right.
Fuck that. My ethical superstar lives in Detroit and his name is Cade Cunningham.
There it is, everybody. Robert Sloppy Toppenheimer. Cade is the best Piston since Zeke in Detroit.
Oh, look how I come around.
Danny G. Cade is closer to the best point guard in the league than people want to admit.
He is the best point guard in the league.
100%.
That's a great take.
No, Danny, I did it in the East yesterday. I did, and then I started thinking, all right, where does he rank in the league? And you can have these conversations now. It's pretty stinking cool.
And the thing that I love is that now his scoring is starting to catch up with everything else. When you look at what he did last night, he almost had 30 at the half.
7 threes.
A 40 burger for the game. Like this.
7 of 10.
Yeah.
If Cade start taking over games with his scoring like that, along with doing everything else, it's going to be a problem.
Responsibly farmed.
Yes.
Yeah. Responsibly farmed.
Grass-fed. Never in captivity.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Just ethical, free-range buckets on your fucking head top.
All the points he scored.
He is so close to going to the American Voice right now. Did you hear
You're
it?
goddamn right.
Absolutely.
That's how basketball should be played.
All the points he scored, grain-free diets.
Yes.
Yeah.
Grain-free diets, all of them. All the points he scores.
Pasture raised.
Woodward Sports chat thread, DNC ENT. And I'll do this, and you guys have heard me say this story before, but I think it bears repeating again. DNC ENT, whatever it takes, he's the most complete player in the game today, bar none. Assassin's mentality, I said this week. I said when he was drafted. I'll repeat it again. Who's starving more for an NBA World Championship than Cade Cunningham? There is no one. And again, I'll make this plea to the fans and pull the curtain back. Last year, I did the game in Washington against the Wizards. We got on the bus to go to the airport. Cade Cunningham, who did not play in that game, they won the game. They beat the Wizards. Cade Cunningham got on the bus, was the most fired up person on the bus. Players, staff, everybody. And he didn't play.
Yeah.
And he was that fired. The dude just wants to win here in Detroit.
It's beautiful.
In Detroit, he wants to put it on his back, and he wants to win here in Detroit, and he will do whatever is necessary. He will. Yeah. Sean, this guy should be the most loved superstar in Detroit.
Yeah,
he should. For real talk,
he's getting there.
He should be.
He's getting there,
and he should be. Because nobody in this town wants to win more than he. I know that for a fact. I
don't care what anybody says. You and I have been very fortunate to kind of be behind the curtain. It is amazing the stuff you see in scenarios like that. When you're on a road trip, when you're on a team bus and everything, the window into the soul type of stuff.
You see how people are.
You really do. You get to peek behind the curtain and you get to see how people really are. There are some guys that I've had a lot of success for, or at least had a lot of respect for their success, that unfortunately you kind of saw the other side, where you're just like, I don't know. And then you have some other dudes where it just skyrockets. When you have the opportunity to do games at that level, at the professional level, and Neil, both you and I have been blessed to do that, it is amazing some of the stuff that you can see that maybe the average person doesn't see. And more often than not, I might add, that window into the soul is an accurate read in regards to what that person is eventually going to become.
And before we go to break, AC in the Woodward Sports Chat says cage-free Cade. And nobody with the Super Chat says ethical scorer, make it a shirt, Stick. So, I love the guy.
That wasn't made in a factory in China.
No. That is U.S. raised. Good Texas boy coming up here and taking care of business. You're goddamn right, Kate Cunningham. Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, this might.
There it is.
There's nothing.
That's my new favorite bit. I want to get him riled up just to go into that voice.
No, the American voice, it never.
Kate Cunningham is American as it gets.
Goddamn right.
I want to
good Texas boy.
There is nothing more beautiful than a low ego superstar.
Yes.
And when you have one, you need to appreciate them. He reminds me a lot of Calvin in that way. The way Megatron used to come through.
That's a good comp.
Yeah, no, he reminds me of that. Low ego superstar just wants to win.
Tell him about Mark White.
Mark White, low ego superstar. If you're looking to buy or sell your home, Mark White should be your first choice. Save you up to $5,000 in your closing costs. Visit him at markwhitesales.com or call him at 248-290-8242. markwhitesales.com.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
No one gives away more cash and prizes than Woodward Sports. You don't believe us? Here's our latest $10,000 winner.
You guys posted, hey, if you guess all this stuff right, we'll give it's $10,000. I'm like, okay, well, why the hell not?
And the winning doesn't stop there. How about our Outkick Your Coverage winner?
Let's give it up for David Tully, everybody. David Tully. This guy's got a hot girl.
Bigger prizes, bigger giveaways, cash, merch, tickets, and more. All from the biggest sports network in Detroit. No one does it bigger and better than Woodward Sports. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube for your chances to share in the winning. From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. Detroit has the best sports fans in the world. That's why they deserve the best sports coverage in the world. We are the Woodward Sports Network. Enough Detroit sports. Make sure you listen to Ermanni and Edwards with Maz next, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. on the Woodward Sports Network. Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neil Rule, Sean Belizean, KG, Spencer Raxter, Chase here, all of you in the Woodward Sports chat thread. Subscribe to the Woodward Sports YouTube channel. Burn in the super chat if you want to skip the line. Burn just did that. Motorcade, forged in Texas, built in Detroit, made in America.
Goddamn right.
Can I get a hell yeah?
Hell yeah. I saw that someone said, is Cade the best athlete in Detroit right now? And I look at, he is top 4. I believe the 4 best athletes in Detroit right now are Penny Sewell, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Cade Cunningham, and Tarek Skubal.
Yeah.
And you can put those 4 any way you want.
All right, doesn't Jahmyr Gibbs belong in there?
Yeah, I think so. Jahmyr Gibbs does. But like, Penny Sewell, 2-time first-team All-Pro.
Yeah. Well, I'm not arguing.
Gold jacket made already to save on
Amon-Ra
calls.
St. Brown, 2-time first-team All-Pro.
Yeah.
Skubal just won the Cy Young. Cade's going to be a first-team All-NBA player this year. Gibbs, Hutch, Raymond.
They're just
they're waiting. Brian Branch, Kirby, there's a lot. I don't know if we've ever had this much, other than like the early 2000s, this much talent between the 4 teams in Detroit sports ever.
Yeah, that's
except
a fact.
the 90s.
It's never happened.
The 90s maybe, but These guys, like world class, top of the league talent. Obviously, you had the Red Wings that had the greatest team of all time.
The only thing I can would pop into my
90s.
because you had Barry, which
right.
You had the Pistons that were starting to get a little long in the tooth. They had just had the second of the back to back. The Tigers were kind of there was kind of a hole there with the Tigers.
Yeah, they just hit a bunch of home runs up, but they were fun to watch.
Yeah,
they had
I mean,
talent.
an older Trammell, an older Whitaker, and then you had Steve Yzerman, who I say till the day I die. I don't think people understand what an offensive weapon he was at one point in time.
He was the third best player on the planet.
Yeah, it was. I always laugh. The 1 year I watched him score 65 goals and have 90 assists. Like think
and be third in the league in scoring
and
behind
he was third in the
Mario
league in
and Gretzky.
scoring. He finished 44 points behind the leading scorer.
Yes.
Who scored 85 goals that year, I might add, and scored a goal in every way possible in one game that year. Every way you can score a goal in the National Hockey League. He scored a shorthanded goal. He scored a power play goal. He had 5 goals every way you can score a goal. Like, and it was like, Chris Osgood and I were talking about that. That was like one of those games that was like, okay, Mario, you're a freak. There's something legitimately wrong with you. You're such a freak. But boy, Spenny, you're right. It's probably better. If we're being honest, it is. They're
young too. They're young. They're not even, half of them aren't even in their prime yet.
Yeah.
You look at the upper echelon, like arguably the best running back in the NFL, the best offensive lineman in the NFL, a top 3 receiver in the NFL, arguably the best point guard in the NBA. You look at Lucas Raymond, he's going to be a top 5 wing in the NHL pretty soon. Sider, arguably already a top 5 defenseman in the NHL. Skubal, the best pitcher on the planet. Like, that is an insane top upper echelon talent pool.
When is the last time we said one of our guys was the absolute best, too? Sorry, I know we're getting off the
Barry.
Calvin.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Barry and Calvin.
Terrence Skubal's the best pitcher in baseball.
Yeah.
I don't have any problem saying that. Sorry, I said it a year ago at this time.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
WeezyD313 in the chat. Ethical is the most X-ish of all time. No, it is. Yeah, ethical score. That is.
He is.
It is.
He didn't get fooled by the camp of James Harden, and he went out there. He's a 3-level scorer, like you said, 7 of 10 from 3 last night. The guy is. He's 6'7", and he can play at all 3 levels, dog. His turnaround fadeaways, his post game is nasty.
He got a nasty hook shot in the lane now.
The hook shot he is hitting,
he is
dude.
developing some nasty moves.
He's finishing over like health. This is the first time he's had healthy legs since high school, and we're seeing it this year because he's dunking on people, and it's beautiful basketball to watch. And my dad said this to me. That game against the Sixers, when he was out, and they went out there and they dominated the 76ers, beat them by 30 points or whatever it was, my dad said that is the most effort throughout an entire game I've ever seen an NBA team give defensively. Throughout the whole game, they were playing nonstop, balls to the wall, full effort defense, and that's how this Piston team's play.
Because they got the components
rebounding.
of it.
Yeah, you got Ron Howell, you got Oscar Thompson, a leader in Cade Cunningham. You add a guy in Dennis Schroeder who has been masterful for this. Last night, he had like 16. He had that and one at the end of the game. Extremely important.
Well, it was a big moment, Spenny, and I'm glad you brought that up because I meant to talk about this. Here's how you know Cade's. They doubled him.
Yep.
Exclusively.
Yep.
They doubled him. They said, we cannot deal with this guy anymore. Yeah. We have to double him. And Dennis Schroeder was the one that reaped the benefits and closed down the club.
Yep.
He was. He was the guy. And that was...
And Malik Beasley.
He does that.
Somebody in the chat talked about that. They said, how about some appreciation for Malik Beasley, Tim Hardaway Jr., and Tobias.
Tobias has been huge.
For a month.
Yes.
Yeah, Chase.
I hated on Tobias.
Harris has been in Spanny.
I hated on Tobias for sure. And since Jaden Ivey has gone out, he has been probably the most important player on this team outside of I know Jalen Duren's playing out of his fucking mind.
Yeah,
Malik Beasley's playing out of his mind. Those guys, what they do, they're playing at a higher level. But what Tobias can do scoring wise and shooting wise from the 4 spot allows you to play consistently Oscar Thompson. Because Oscar Thompson can't shoot, and you can't have a front court of 3 guys who can't shoot. Yeah. So Tobias being able to legitimately be a threat from outside the arc at the 4 spot allows you to play an Oscar Thompson, and we know he's a game changer.
Because Tobias is a 3-level score.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
that's why it
And
works.
you need a bucket, you kick it to him in the post, he'll back somebody down, hit a little turnaround on him.
Cody Ingle, no seed oil in those buckets. Yeah, and look, even that, even
no
that
red,
fake,
no red 40.
Great
no,
bit. I
no,
like
no,
that.
none of
Kinda
that.
stumbled on this.
None
right?
of the organic sunflower oil or palm oil. None of that.
Whole
like it's
grain.
legit.
Yeah.
No seed oils at all, Sean. I love it. No, I do love it. Shout out Trajan Langdon, by the way.
Yeah.
It just seemed to be pretty simple, right? Hey, we need a couple shooters to help Cade. Mm-hmm. Stroke of a pen, went and got a couple shooters.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, this Schroeder move is such
Got him
a
for
good
free.
move.
Got him for free.
And you saw it last night, and expect to see Cade be more aggressive in terms of going out and getting his points because his usage is going to come down, and Cade is going to be able to go out there and just be Cade Cunningham later in games, man. You love to see it.
Good catch, too, by Weezy D. They double Cade after they realized a top 5 perimeter defender in Dyson Daniels couldn't hold him, and that is true.
Yep.
Like Dyson Daniels
One of the
couldn't do
best
shit
defenders in
with
the NBA.
Yeah.
had nothing.
Has the most steals in the NBA. I
Yeah,
think,
probably
right now.
the best perimeter in the defender in the NBA.
had nothing for him. Burn in the super chat before we cut to the break. Besides the 90s, the 40s and 50s, you had Hank Greenberg, Gordie Howe, Night Train, and Bobby Lane.
What an influx.
It's been a while. Is that a Maz Burner account?
Yeah, it might be.
That might be. Daryl, SARS Awakening's been a big part. No, it is. It's just
SARS a dog, bro.
This is
He is a dog.
and guys, I talked about this with the Tigers last year. Get in with the Pistons, everyone.
Yeah.
Like get in with because
It's so fun
they
to
are
watch.
and they are Detroit. Like
Yeah.
Sean, there were signs of this. I know the preseason doesn't mean anything, but out there in Phoenix, I remember calling the game that Friday night in that loose ball, and Ron Holland went to the floor with one of the Phoenix Suns players, and he wouldn't give it up. Not like during the course of the play, after the whistle sounded. He wasn't giving the ball up. 10 seconds went by. He wasn't moving. 15 seconds went by. Guys came off the benches. And this is an 18-year-old rookie out there, just to give you the flavor. And to parlay that with what I talk about Cade, that no one wants to win more. It is something, people, if you haven't been, you need to go out there and you need to get involved with this team because this is, we talk about organic scores. This is the organic season with the Pistons right now.
Yeah.
It is. Where, hey, whatever happens,
Free
man.
roll, yep.
Not supposed to be here. They're going to get in the playoffs. They're like minus 800 on Caesars now to make the playoffs. So they're going to make the playoffs.
It's funny you mentioned that because that's the craziest. I mean, right now, I think there's no debate. If pick one, death not an option, who's going to make the playoffs? Wouldn't everybody say the Pistons?
Everybody.
Right?
Everybody.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing about it is, guys, we haven't seen the double whammy in 9 years.
Nope.
It's 9 years since both teams.
April.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
April
You're going to fire
in
that
the
up, right?
Hey, we
But
back.
really, it's been 9 years since they both made the playoffs, and they were both dumped almost immediately. But that's where we're at right now. The idea that we might have that, both those teams at home. And oh, by the way, you got the Tigers early in the season, have the Yankees coming in, you have the Royals coming in, et cetera, et cetera. Those are the things that make you all kinds of fired up. I mean,
No question.
like those days down in Detroit where you have the doubles going on, are you kidding me? This could be magical this spring. It really could.
Robert Sloppy Toppenheimer, if you're someone who, quote, hates the modern NBA, give the Pistons a chance. They play hard on D, run in transition. It's great basketball. Robert, thanks for verbalizing what I was trying to say.
Yep.
That if you hate the NBA, the Pistons are the anti-NBA right now
Yeah,
with an anti-superstar.
right. Last night, notwithstanding, because they got a little sloppy in the fourth quarter, but
They won a road game.
yeah, but no, they outscored
with an ethically sourced, pure organic,
No
non-seed oil, American-made
No
superstar.
preservatives.
No
in
dolphins
Cade.
were harmed.
No.
There
Nope.
wasn't one dolphin harmed. Not
No
one.
high fructose corn syrup.
No. Yeah.
No artificial dyes or
red
flavoring.
40,
Yeah, no preservatives.
No.
None of that. Just pure. Pure as the earth.
Grass-fed, pasture-raised American beef.
Like, tell them about Dr. Pierce.
Dr. Pierce. Let me tell you about Dr.
Great
Pierce.
American doctor.
Great American doctor. If you're looking to keep yourself in the game, Dr. Pierce should be your first choice. Like, what are we talking about? He kept DMAC in the game. He can keep you in the game as well. He's our injury insider. Tuesdays on Big D Energy and Thursdays on Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. He's powered by Michigan Sports and Spine and MRI of Southfield. For more information, visit him at MichiganSportsandSpine.com or call him at 248-426-9940. 888-866-9444. It's Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
Head to woodwardsports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward sports gear. Woodwardsports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at woodwardsports.com. Enough Detroit sports. Make sure you listen to Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Next, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. on the Woodward Sports Network.
Hi.
Back at it. Hello, friends.
We were
Big
just
D
having
Energy.
a fun conversation.
We were just chopping it up.
Well, this is the season, whether people want to admit it or not. It is, Neil. I mean, to kind of finish up our season, this is, look, in once you hit week 0, okay, you know, everything's football. Everything's football.
Round the clock.
You need to do those things. And
No,
it's fun.
absolutely.
It's
No,
fun.
we were talking about the audience here on Big D Energy, and just kind of an appreciation because you guys are like us, right? Like, we're just two guys that sit there and watch sports, and we happen to find an avenue to get paid to do it and stuff like that. But we're the same. I always say, like, in this business, I do my talk network stuff differently than probably a lot of the radio people in this town do. I'm not here to sell you hope, and I'm not here to sell you fear. I feel like I don't need to do that. I do this as somebody, as literally, if you run into me in the public, I'm literally the same as I am on the microphone.
Mm-hmm.
And when we talk about sports out in public, it'll be the same. If we sat next to each other on a bar stool, it would literally be the same. And as I love the way that you guys pick up on the bits, like the organic score. And boom, the chat's full of, I love, that's what I love about sports talk. It's not like the topic. It's not that the Pistons beat the Hawks. It's that, that's the springboard, and we discuss it, but then that ends up in no seed oils in Cade Cunningham's points.
It is hysterical, and the longer that you go on, when people walk up to you and talk to you, they don't talk to you about, oh my gosh, I'll never forget when you had that take during the 2008 Stanley Cup playoffs. You know what they talked about? Hey, you remember when your daughter was born and you nicknamed her Crack Baby? Hey, Neil, do you remember when you had that rant on candy corn?
Yeah. Yes.
That's the shit that people like seriously. And that's what's cool in my mind about like day one being a part of this cool network, Woodward Sports, is the dudes in the chat. There's some creative people in there that take the baton and just sprint down and it's like, cool, take me for a ride. I'm gonna sit back now. You guys take this wherever the hell you want to go. And that's the cool thing about doing this avenue. It really is.
No doubt. And we've proven too that it works. You just don't need the hope and fear. Like you just don't need that. Oh, I love the Lions. Oh, I love Jared Goff. Oh, should they look and should they move on from Jared Goff? Like I don't do. You know where I stand with it. You know where Easy stands with it. I don't agree with him. You don't agree with him. But he's not up there, 5 to 7 heavyweight shout out. He's not up there. What are we going to do today? Am I for Goff or against Goff? Number one, I'm too lazy to remember how I'm supposed to feel, so I just tell you how I feel.
You're not putting topics on the board and then picking which side you're going to be on.
Right.
But that's what I like about here. And it's proven it works.
Oh, it's gross.
Look at the social media. We dominate digitally. Dominate.
It's hard not to get caught up. Like, I go back to the fall, okay? And please don't take this as I'm patting myself on the back. It's hard not to get caught up in the euphoria of, say, the Lions season. It was hard not to get caught up in that. But at some point in time, and I firmly believe we all knew it, whether you want to admit it or not, I think we all knew as the injury started coming, we all knew how it was going to end. We did.
Yeah.
And nobody wanted to say it because it was magical. And, well, surely it's going to be this because last year was that. And I didn't like saying it, but, man, I can't tell you how many times I had to say, guys, you can't – this is too many injuries. It's too bad. It sucks. If we get this guy back, if we get that guy back,
But
and
Sean,
we know how it didn't happen.
I was on a magic carpet ride.
We all were. And I hope you please don't, because I've been wrong about anything, and I'll be the first guy to call myself out, really and truly. But people got so mad, and I just said, hey, guys, my job isn't to come up here and tell you to feel good about yourselves. My job is to try to look at this as objectively. It doesn't mean I'm always going to be right. Doesn't mean that Neil's always going to be right.
No, I'm always right.
But it doesn't mean that I can come up here and tell you everything. There were too many damn injuries. Period. We all know it now. It's okay. It'll never be okay until they win a Super Bowl.
I was about to say,
but you know what I mean? It's okay. Like you guys knew you cannot be beaten up like the way they were, especially in the defensive side of the ball, and expect to stop people. Really, that's what. And I know in December nobody wanted to hear it, but that was the life that we were living. So I wish that I could get caught up sometimes in that Legoland stuff and run around singing everything is awesome. But it's not my DNA. It's never been in my DNA.
Woodward Sports chat thread. In the super chat, Byrne jumped the line. I appreciate our history. Dang it, we were giving Byrne a hard time about talking about the 40s. I appreciate our history, dang it. LOL. Going to watch history tonight at LCA from the west side of the state. So there you go. Are the Pistons striking a chord? Yes. Byrne is coming from the west side of the state to go to the game tonight.
Absolutely.
So go
100%. I told you, Neil, a few weeks ago, it was amazing to me to listen to like my daughter and her group of friends talking about going down to Piston games. I eavesdrop. Parents eavesdrop. Newsflash. I'm sure you do as well.
100%.
These had a bunch of shitheads over my house, and I hear them all chirping downstairs. And all right, well, we're going to go to this game, and that's during spring break. Let's go to that game. Are these kids really sitting around talking about growing as a group to pissing games? Like that doesn't happen. So the vibe is out there. The excitement's out there. And I'll tell you what, when all of a sudden that becomes the social place to go again, man, it's going to be off the hook down there. It really is.
Yeah, LCA deserves some winning. It's
Amen.
about damn time. It's a beautiful
Place
building.
is beautiful.
Yeah, it's
love
been
it.
beautiful ever since
really
it was
is.
built. It's just missing winning.
Yep.
From both teams.
Yep.
Woodward Sports chat thread, Matt K. Thank you, Spenny. I took the 35-plus game bet at the start of the season, Utah.
Yes, sir. Set to win about $600 here. 4 more Piston wins.
Yep.
I don't think that is said enough, though, okay? They have 31 wins combined the previous 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't stress that enough. Like, 2 seasons, 31 wins, okay? And we're there right now. It's awesome. It really is. It's so stinking cool right now the way things are going.
Yeah. It was never impossible, though. People just got caught up in the fact that, it's 14 wins. There's no way they can touch 30 this year. And me personally, I wasn't buying into that.
A lot of
I would
extenuating
have lost my
circumstances.
house last year, though, because I said the same thing. I think it was it 27 last year? And I was
last year, yeah.
You give me a healthy Cade Cunningham, I'll bury that over. I'll put my mortgage on it.
And this year it was 24, and they've shattered that.
Yeah.
So,
Monty Williams was a terrorist. We didn't expect that.
Yeah, we did.
Fair enough.
Seems like a nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
he was
think
fine
his
to me.
heart
Yeah.
was not
Ruined my basketball franchise.
I can't listen.
Made people say trade Cade
I don't hate
Cunningham.
him because I would have did the same shit.
Yeah,
They
that's
offered him a deal
exactly
he
it.
couldn't have
I'm sorry.
refused.
Definitely.
I think we're barking up the wrong tree. Here's a man that told you when he was hired.
Right.
I didn't want to coach.
There's a difference between not wanting to be there and actively making your team worse by starting Killian
Fair
Hayes.
enough.
But I think he didn't realize just how bad it was.
At what
till
point
he
in
got
time
here.
do you look inward and go, okay, he's telling me he doesn't want to coach?
Yeah, and
I'm accountable for hiring that human being.
Yep.
Troy Weaver made some nice draft picks. Couldn't sign a free agent to save his life or make any trades.
Trajan Langdon came in like a week.
Yeah.
Got Tim Hardaway Jr.
Troy Weaver was
Beasley.
getting us Jalil Okafor and Marvin Bagley. Like, come on.
So how do you
this isn't the
expect a
90s.
man who openly says, I don't want to coach to behave? Like, really, honestly.
Seriously.
I don't want to coach. Is he going to come in here and suddenly act like a guy who wants to coach?
I think that was the hope.
Right.
I think that was the hope.
And then you come here and you realize, oh, it's fucked up from the top down. The Tellums are running the fucking team.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, there were caveats. Like I said, I don't think he realized just how bad it really was
And
to be a part of this
Again,
organization.
shout out to Tom Gorris, man. Neil said it the whole time. If you could sign a check to win a championship, he absolutely would. And he did. He fucking did. He said, I made a terrible mistake. I'm going to write this off, and we're going to go here's your check, Monty. Have a good day. We're going in a different direction. Shout out to Tom. I gained a lot of respect for Tom Gorris for signing Monty Williams and then killing him the next day.
Isn't that what made Joe Dumars so great when he was here?
Yeah.
I think the one thing that I remember, Neil, and you and I lived it, if Joe made a mistake, especially in the early portion of his time here, he'd make it go away.
Sean.
That's what set him apart. The beginning of the end for Joe, okay, and I never bought into, and it was propaganda. I don't care what anybody says. Neil, don't say anything.
Okay.
It was piston propaganda, the whole Joe's hands were tied stuff. It was. We all know it. Let's move on with our day. But when he dug his heels in with Rodney Stuckey, when everybody else saw, everybody saw, and he dug his heels in, I was like, uh-oh. And then it just seemed to go downhill from then. But I'm able to separate. We don't win a championship, well, multiple championships without Joe Dumars.
6 straight Eastern Conference Finals appearances.
Tip of the cap.
Typical
cap.
3 championships, 2 as a player, 1 as a GM that he created.
Right.
It was really a tale of 2 tenures, though. It was.
It was.
When
but
stubborn Joe showed up, it got
Oh,
bad.
things change internally, though.
Oh, they did, but
things change internally.
You know better than anybody else. I'm not going to say that the whole Joe's hands were tied stuff is a bunch of crap because Mr. Davison passed away and he made 2 of the worst signings in the history of mankind after Mr. Davison passed away. And to hear 4 or 5 years later, the retelling of, well, Joe couldn't make a move. No, he did make a move, and they were 2 awful moves, bringing in 2 awful free agents in the time that, quote, he wasn't allowed to do anything.
True, but in his defense, those were supposed to be some of the top free agents at the time.
But you have to be
just like Monty Williams was a top coach.
Right.
But
you have
to be. And that's the Darko argument.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody would have taken Darko. Joe took Darko. So you have to own it. That's the way it is.
And he did. You know what? I always said this too. Like, Joe should have been put in the Hall of Fame as an executive. The second, and I know he's your guy, Spartan Dog. When they drafted Mateen Cleaves, and then clearly that wasn't it.
Yeah.
And he traded Mateen Cleaves and got back a living, breathing person in John Barry.
Yeah.
Like a literal, like legit person and a draft pick.
Yep.
He should have been immediately put in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Immediately.
Yep.
All right. Let's do this. Let's take the break, come back. I do want to talk about the Tigers. We're back season is in full effect.
Oh,
and
yeah.
the question isn't,
Dingo's back.
are the Tigers going to win the division?
No.
The question
World
is, are they going to
Series.
wrap it up by August?
Yep.
Oh, shit. Neil coming in.
Dylan Dingler back. Chase Young back.
Neil coming
Kenta
in.
Maeda.
Back.
Oh,
Back.
I told you. I knew it was coming.
Y'all just wait on Javi.
Casey Mai.
Back.
Back.
Y'all wait
And
on
just wait
Javi,
till
I'm
they
telling y'all.
unleash Torque. Oh, he's leading the team in homers this year.
Planet Fitness, everybody. We're live in the Planet Fitness studios. And the bottom line is this. Like, there's a bunch of taglines that I'm supposed to tell you
Back.
about Planet Fitness.
Planet Fitness is back.
But with all that being
Never
said,
left.
the bottom line is it's become an everyday part of my life. Like, it's bigger than a gym. You know what I'm saying? It is. I mean, yeah, it's only $24.99 a month for a Black Card membership and go to any Planet Fitness in the world, and I've used them all over the country. Like, yeah, that's nice and everything like that. But it's helped me a lot in my personal life and helped me accomplish a lot of the fitness goals that I have had. And I've done it with Planet Fitness. I've done it because there's Planet Fitnesses all over the place. I've done it because they're open all the time. That's the reason I've been able to do it. 100% Planet Fitness. I'll never not be a member at Planet Fitness. As long as they're in business, that'll be my gym forever. PlanetFitness.com or just pull in the parking lot. Planet Fitness. Don't pay more money to lift the same weights.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Soroki's crispy chicken and pizza. Just great, great food. They got wings, 7 different flavors for you to choose from. My personal favorite is the spicy garlic, but you can try them all and choose your own for yourself. Soroki's crispy chicken and pizza. To find one near you, go to Sorokis.com.
All right, keeping it pushing. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Coming down the stretch. Neil Rule, Sean, Belize, and all of you in the Woodward Sports chat thread, pushing 80,000 YouTube subs. So go ahead, subscribe, jump into the chat. Burn in the super chat. Listen here. Isn't it if we win a World Series? How many World Series will we win with Kenta Maeda on the mound?
20.
Okay.
Dynasty.
This weekend, though, in case you didn't catch it, the Tigers won all their games, whatever. It's spring training games. Like, nobody cares about the result.
Right.
However, Kenta Maeda, low 90s, zeros across the board.
Look at him.
That was what, Friday?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was Friday.
2 strikeouts in the first inning. Come on. He's back.
There is nothing worse in sports. I'm serious. There is nothing worse in
spring
sports
training?
than spring training coverage. Nothing. There's nothing. I'm sorry. Think of something, and I'll tell you you're wrong. There is nothing. Everybody figured it out.
NBA All-Star Weekend?
No, because you know what that. Everybody figured it out. Everybody's going to have a comeback season. Everybody's in the best shape of their career. Everybody's on the same page. Steve Mariucci's Camp Happy Times. Over and over and over every single year. There is nothing worse than spring training coverage. And you know what, Neil? I love every second of it. I do. I'm part of the problem. I want it.
You are. No, you are. I want Spenny to power rank these things, okay? This is one weekend of spring training baseball. And now I believe that I have a list for Spenny to power rank.
Okay.
I will say them in no particular order.
All right.
Casey Mize is back.
10 out of 10.
Kenta Maeda is back.
11 out of 10.
Jace Young is arrived.
7 out of 10.
Dylan Dingler.
12 out of 10.
What did I tell you? We were talking about last week.
Yep.
New Hip Javi.
New Hip Javi's 20 out of 10. So
New Hip. Who
I
this?
got number 1, A, B, and C is Mize, Maeda, Javi all being back.
Oh, shit.
So that's how
the
the
top 3.
Power ranking number 1, A, B, and C is Mize, Maeda, Manning, Mize, Maeda, Javi all being back. And then I'll go Dingler and then Jace Young.
Okay. I just wanted to get an early. Lem's 31M. Even Miggy's in the best shape of his life. I'm sure he is.
That happened for 15 years.
Every year.
I could go back in time and find pictures every year of Miggy. And I'd go, he doesn't look like in good shape. But they told it. They were down there and we weren't. So we had to go for it.
But they would always get the picture of him smiling with the bat, talking to somebody like, oh, yeah, Miggy's going to be great this year. Nah.
It's funny. We all have those people in our life, right? There are some people that baseball is their number one, all right? And the thing about baseball fans is, man, they are as geeky as anybody out there.
Oh, yeah.
My boy is like that. My son is like that. My son is absolute baseball elite. And it's really funny because we were talking on Friday. We had the nickel package, and I don't know if you guys follow Pacoda. Pacoda is this well-known thing where
it's like net ranking for baseball.
Yeah, simulate a whole bunch of games, and it's gotten. The Tigers were picked 4th, and I think the thing that surprises me, and I keep coming back to this, is I've seen Pacoda do it, and I've seen a lot of writers do it. They're picking Minnesota. And am I missing something? Like I'm serious. I wanted to throw this at you guys and throw this to the chat. Am I missing something?
I don't understand it. I can see having the Guardians or even the Royals, but Minnesota? I don't. Yeah.
So to the
Drawing a
baseball
blank.
elite out there, and KG's a huge baseball fan. If people don't know, like Neil, am I missing something?
No, I just think that they're basing it off of because they were in first place last year, or in amongst the. And all of a sudden,
account for the collapse.
they went on a historic collapse.
Oh, it was
historic.
Horrendous.
As meteoric as the Tigers' run was, the Twins' collapse was equal. Like people like this hasn't happened since the '60s. You know, like that whole deal. I legit think that the AL Central is you put all the dice in a Yahtzee cup except the White Sox dice. You take that dice out and throw it off to the side. You shake it up and you roll it and you see what's going to happen. Like, for real. I think that's how it's going to be.
That's fair.
I think that's how it's going to be. Cleveland.
That's not fair.
Cleveland is. I'll just. I'll never understand the Guardians. I'll never understand. They are right there. They are good every single year.
Yeah.
And their owner does
Nothing.
And I asked this Jason Woodrich, who plays on Oakland, by the way, had 20 points yesterday.
Shout out.
He's an Ohio guy, big Guardians fan.
Yeah.
And I asked him, I said, can I ask you, we were at dinner one night. I said, how can you stand it? For real, how can you stand it? And he goes, I hate it. But like we all know, they're not going to do anything. Mm-hmm. And we've kind of accepted it. And I'm paraphrasing, but I'm like, could you imagine? But I guess we're going to get a taste of it too, I guess.
That's why I always use the Cleveland Indians as Exhibit A. Okay, when I hear people, and we have these conversations a lot. Maybe there's people in the chat that have had these conversations, that if you're really serious about winning, you have to spend money. And you know what people do all the time? Like their first, it's like their default mode, right? It's like the computer kicks in and they go to default mode. They go, what about the Cleveland Indians? Did you hear what Neil just said? There's this cat who's an Indian fan who is just downright sick of living the life that they live. If you really want to win, you have to spend money. I'm sorry. That's the way it is. I'm not saying that you have to go to Dodger levels. I'm not saying that you have to go to Yankee levels or Red Sox levels. But you have to do more than you've done. Another one, you know what default number 2 is, Neil? Tampa. Mm-hmm. Well, look at the way that the Rays have done things, and it's commendable. It's tip of the cap.
It gets you to a level.
Do you remember those World Series that Tampa won? I'll never forget. Remember when they won the one World Series with 17 people at that awful stadium? You remember? Unbelievable. Great times had by all. Like that's what but again, I think sometimes some of the baseball elitist things, that's their default mode. Well, you don't have to spend. Look at the Indians. Do you want what Neil just described? Do you want that? Me personally, you know what? I don't want to go through that era again. Of 06, this is just the beginning. And then it took 5 years to get back into the playoffs. But then surely we're going to win a World Series. 2013 took 7.1 years off my life. And I think about it and I want to puke. To this day, that was the one, Neil. That was the one. And for the younger generation out there, the guys like KG, the guys like Spenny, the guys like Chase that are sick and dog tired of hearing about 1984, that was their 1984. And we let it slip away. And that sucked. But you know as well as I do, and this is why so many people out there, including yours truly, sit back and go, okay, there's a difference between being cute and central cute, right? Because right now, you know what we are? You know what the Detroit Tigers are, whether we want to admit it or not? We're central cute.
Right. Yeah.
We are. We're central cute. Ooh, look at the central. You know, it's like I went into some dive bar, and it's the hottest 50-year-old divorcee in there. Well, that's fantastic. I want to lay pipe to it, but I mean that's what we are right now. We're central cute. Could we win the Central? Yeah, we could. But are you honestly? You think this team could go on some crazy run and even get to the World Series? Like, stop.
No, we saw it played out last year, Sean. Like, it legit played out last year. We had some things go our way. Got by Houston. The Guardians was right in the mix of it, and when it all came down to it, we couldn't score runs.
Yeah.
Like, and we knew it. The Tigers not being able to score runs were the Lions' injuries. Mm-hmm. In your heart, you knew. You knew in the end. And KG, like, it was a fun ride and everything like that. You remember when it started happening, I said, all right, enjoy it because this is your organic.
You got it.
Now there's the expectations now.
Yeah.
And In the offseason, did the offseason meet your expectations? No.
There's a reason Tigers threaten but do not score has been a bit for so many years. And this team has continued that fine, upstanding tradition. They really have. And boy, Neil, you couldn't – I say it all the time. In 2006, what a wonderful thing. And to experience that with my baseball-loving son was the best. One of my fondest memories. I'm serious. The second that ended, when we lost to the Cardinals, the second that ended, my first reaction wasn't, my first reaction goes – well, we aren't going to have this much fun in a long, long time.
Bingo.
Because guess what? Now people expect it.
Burn in the super chat. Because I hate Minnesota sports, never forget the Twins collapse started after Minnesota retired the letter W. Did they really? We might have talked about that. I don't recall that off the top of my head. But yeah.
Neil, where you at?
With
the Tigers. Not at the Bregman shit is settled. What are your real expectations for the Tigers?
Again, like roll the dice with a Royals logo, Guardians logo, Tigers logo.
I hear you, but would you go on record and say that you believe that they can win the Central League?
Oh, yeah, for sure they could. For sure they could. Now they'll have to be lucky, right? They'll have to, have some injury luck and stuff like that.
Right.
But in the end, it's only going to piss me off.
Neil, to your point, honest to goodness, I wouldn't be surprised if they won the division, and I wouldn't be surprised if they finished third.
That's
legit. Where I'm at right now.
And in the end, Sean, that will piss me off because you didn't do anything to fix it.
Yeah.
And it's not about cap space or draft capital. It's your desire to write the check. Tom Gore showed you it was his desire to write the check. And look what happened after he wrote that check. Look.
Yeah.
It can be that simple. The biggest weapon in professional sports is a pen and a checkbook. That's the weapon. And you said it, Sean. Teams like the Tigers and the Rays and the Marlins and the Guardians, this is what we are. For real. Like, we need to embrace that because that's what we are. And it's sad. It makes me sad. But make no mistake, I'm still going to watch because it's what I do in the summer.
Yeah.
And I'm going to watch the games. And when we lose 3-2 or 2-1, be like, man, I wish we had a third baseman that could get a hit.
I know, right?
I wish we had somebody that could hit a home run. But we won't. And I'll still watch. So I guess I'm taking it. I don't know.
Yeah, there is nothing, I don't care what anybody says, that moment when you're at a ballpark with your kid, and I can tell you it became extra special for me now, like once my son turned 21, having a couple hot dogs and a beer with your boy at the ballpark,
Electric.
it's the greatest experience. I don't know.
It's great.
And I'm a hockey fan first. You guys know that. It is the best experience. I cannot wait.
Speaking of that,
go to a game.
I would go see my grandpa when he was alive.
Sure.
When I was in my early 20s, we'd go play golf. I'd stay at his house. We'd watch a Tiger game and have a couple beers.
Right.
I'll never forget those moments. I could get Alzheimer's and I'll remember that.
There's something about it you can't. I don't know what it is.
I would give anything to be back in that moment right now.
Oh my gosh, yeah, right.
Anything.
I mean, it's. There's nothing quite like that. And I'm with you, Neil. No matter what, I'm one of those guys. I like to go down there. Hell, we had season tickets for 04 to 17.
Yeah.
And there were lean years. There were years that you knew it was over. Post, like again, for me, I knew in the back of my head after 13 it was over, but officially it was over for me after 14.
Right.
Yeah. And then people were holding on to hope. This is the era where people were still trying to argue with me at every turn how smart Brad Ausmus was. That happened.
Oh my God. Could you imagine?
That happened.
Could you imagine, Sean?
More than you could. You guys have no idea. There was
crazy.
this defensive Brad Ausmus that the only other thing that I would think was as batshit crazy, and maybe even more so, was the defensive Brady Hoke. And again, you guys can deny it all you want. KG, sorry.
I don't.
But no, honestly, that became like maniacal. It was almost until the bitter end. But the defensive Brad Ausmus, do you remember that? It was
100%.
Really
Sean, that is
weird.
my biggest regret as a Tigers fan. If A.J. Hinch were the manager of that team, we'd have 3 World Series. And even to Jim Leland, if A.J. Hinch was the manager of that team,
2013.
3 World Series.
Yeah.
I'll die on the hill.
Yeah.
2013
Absolutely.
for
I
sure.
love Leland, but yes.
I'll die on the hill.
2013 for sure.
Absolutely.
No doubt. No, we were the best team by far.
There was no
that
reason
series
for
was not
2012.
over with Big
Yeah.
Poppy's Grand Slam. I hate that. I fucking hate that revisionist
Fox
history.
too.
We had 100 different things we could have done to flip that script.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, I hate
dude. With the guys that he had.
Bro, they were so slow.
AJ Hinch was a manager.
Oh, that's 100%, Neil. I agree with you.
If AJ Hinch was a manager, multiple
And like you
World
said, we
Series.
still had another 5 years out of that team we could have got. But
Ian
Brad
Ian Kinsler just feels like a guy that AJ Hinch would have managed to be like a 5-time MVP. Like if AJ Hinch had Ian Kinsler,
MVP.
I know, right?
AJ Hinch probably would have kicked Iglesias into shape too.
oh for sure.
Yeah.
Like they're like honestly,
AJ Hinch wouldn't have traded Eugenio Suarez, or he wouldn't allow them to trade Eugenio Suarez. I'll tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
I would tell you. I tell you what. I wish that we had Iglesias at shortstop now.
Yeah.
Like today.
1,000%.
Like today.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Yes.
Because he'd make it work.
Oh,
Night
I
and
agree
day.
with you.
Like for real.
He's
Like
an-
Seriously.
Like now.
Right now.
He's a more mature person now.
Yeah.
Absolutely, positively. I'd do it today, this second, right
He has
now.
one of the
starting
best gloves
shortstop.
I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, he
Yeah.
could pick it, man.
Yeah, it was
like
insane.
I didn't have to hear about it like I saw it.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have somebody giving me some made up defensive metric as to how he's good,
Right.
but he still leads the league in errors.
Yeah.
Right.
Like Javi, like
Remember
new
when
hip
we-
Javi.
When we actually had infield defense, it
Yeah.
was kind of solid.
The
Iglesias-
first year of Javi, those people, man, with the he's been good defensively. Oh, that's funny. He leads the league in errors. Like an
Iglesias-
actual measurable
But you
thing.
don't-
Iglesias and Kinsler up the middle was so fucking sick, dude.
Yeah.
If you don't spend money, it's like having Jim Caldwell as your coach. You can get to a level, but you can't break through.
Back to reality. Sorry, guys.
1 o'clock tip for Sean means it's over, everybody. Thanks
Yeah.
for tapping in. I'll be back at it tomorrow. For Sean Valesian, KG, Chase, and Spencer Axter, I'm Neil Rule. Thanks for watching Big D Energy. Well, see you later.